me, Kimberly A. Ferguson, the host with you in mind. And can you believe 2016 is coming to a close? But what a great year we've had together on this show. Great conversations, information sharing, and believe it or not, there's so much more to come in our final 2 episodes of 2016. If you missed previous episodes, be sure to catch up on WBTVN, the Woman on TV app on your Android or Apple devices, Roku, or at strategicminds.tv. Today's episode is sponsored by Bibs Plus. We'll share more information about Bibs Plus, including a special offer from this amazing sponsor, a little later in the show. So I'm a big fan of my next guest, the beautiful and oh so talented Brandhyze Stanley. She's an actress, a model, and an award-winning host. You may have seen her in a number of commercials, films, and television shows such as Orange is the New Black, Nashville, The Good Wife, and a recurring role on CBS's Blue Bloods. And she's been featured in numerous media outlets, including The View, The Early Show, The Today Show, MTV Style, and Essence Magazine. I had the opportunity to meet up with her and chat it up a bit. Take a look at my conversation with Brandhyze Stanley. Hello, Strategic Minds. I am here in NYC with Brandhyze Stanley. She's amazing. She's an actress, and she's here today to share a little bit about her journey and give some advice and some tips to help you get better at what you do. Brandhyze, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So let's get right into it. You are from a small town in Northwest Indiana.
I am.
How did you end up here in New York City?
I'm from a small town called Michigan City, Indiana. It's in Northwest Indiana. And
Okay.
I honestly was closer to Chicago growing up than I ever was
Okay.
Indianapolis, which is like 3 hours south.
Okay.
But even in high school, my Spanish teacher would say that I always said that I wanted to be a model and an actor. And to hear that, you know, years later, you're like, I said that even in high school, really? And so, you know, I went on to college because growing up in a small town, as I did, you would never know. I didn't know growing up that you could be, you know, if you weren't Charlize Theron or Denzel or someone, that if you weren't an A-lister, that you could make a living doing this.
Right.
And so I kind of liked the international business classes and things that I had in high school, so I took that route. So I went and got a degree in accounting and a minor in Spanish, and, you know, just partway through it, I'm like, I don't think I want to finish. Of course I have to, because, you know, my parents are paying for this and I got scholarships as well, but I quickly tried to find a route to how to pursue what I really wanted to do, was the acting and the modeling. And so I did my first film there, and I found an internship at Wilhelmina Models online. And it was late one night, and it had been expired, the listing, for a couple of months. And I go into the career services office, and I'm telling someone who I know who works there, and I'm like, you know, I found this great listing, which would really been awesome if I had seen it earlier. And while I'm talking, she's like picking up the phone and she's dialing, and I'm thinking to myself, who is she calling? Like, while we're talking. And she's calling Wilhelmina Models while I'm sitting there. And so she hands me the phone, and I speak to someone, and they said they are, in fact, still looking for interns. My, you know, a white lie that I tell is that I'm in the neighborhood for things. So if you'll give me an opportunity, I will make myself in your neighborhood. So a guy I was working on a film with, he was my husband in the film at the time. I was like, you ever been to New York before? And he's like, no. I'm like, you want to go? So he and I drove 12 hours. Had my interview, had lunch with a friend or two, got back in the car and drove back to Chicago the same day.
Wow.
And so, but I was told that I could have the internship. So I graduated, you know, and came a couple weeks after I graduated, I came to New York and interned at Wilhelmina Models, and they gave me an opportunity and signed me to their creative management division, and allowed me to take pictures and go around to the different castings, and so kind of snowballed from there.
Nice. So the one thing that I noticed, and I'm sure because as an entrepreneur, I know that things aren't always as easy as they look, but you make everything look so easy. I'm looking at your work. I'm looking at Blue Bloods. You're on Blue Bloods. You were on, oh my goodness, Orange is the New Black. I was so excited. I was like, yes. Me too. So, you know, I saw you there in Nashville. What are some of the challenges that you faced in getting to where you are, and, you know, as you're pursuing the direction in which you're going? What are some of the challenges that you faced?
Being in this field, you have to get used to hearing no exponentially more than you've heard yes.
Okay.
And to some people it looks like, oh, you're all over the place, you're doing all this stuff, you stay so busy. But meanwhile, it took so many more no's and being up late at night and rising early and Red Bulls and espresso shots and, you know, learning lines on the subway on the way there. And it just takes a whole lot to go into it before, you know, you get the yeses. And you have to have the fortitude to keep going to get the yeses, because it's easy to give up. It is so easy to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. I am over it. I don't know why I didn't get called. They don't tell you. You know, you have friends and family who might be like, oh, how was that audition you went on yesterday? Like, I don't know. I ain't hear nothing. So I got to keep it moving. I can't, like, you know, focus on those things. So just continuing to go after it and being persistent is something that I've tried to strive to do, and kind of encourage others to do, because you got to give yourself your own pep talk some days.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So,
So your inspiration, who would you say has inspired you and kind of helped you to continue on the road that you're traveling?
First and foremost, my parents.
Okay.
You know, last night I do leather bags, and so last night I had a complication and I called my mom, and you know, they can make you laugh and you know pat you on your way and say like, it's gonna be all right, you'll figure it out. My boyfriend always tells me that, and I'm always like, I hate to hear that I'm gonna figure it out when I'm in the thick of things and I don't know what I'm doing at the moment.
Absolutely.
But I've become to be known by people as the person who does figure it out. It may take me a minute. I may need to walk away, mull it over, pray about it, but I'll come back, and I come back with an answer. And so just not taking no, because one of my favorite quotes is, never accept no for an answer, especially from someone not in the position to tell you yes in the first place. And so
I like that.
It's keeping at it. It's the thank you notes and taking people out to dinner who might have an opportunity when you really taking part of your rent to take them out to dinner, or sending somebody a gift basket, and just following up. The art of follow-up is something that I've had to learn to get good at in this business. Remembering people's birthdays is something that's kind of important to me, and something that I've gotten good at. So, you know, you may tell me your birthday. We may not talk again for 6 months. I'll jot it down on my calendar, and I'll give you a call on your birthday. So you know that on that day that I was thinking about you. I called you not for something that was important to me, for something that was important to you. I don't want anything other than to wish you a happy birthday and have a good day. And so that small note to people is like, you thought of me today. And you called. You didn't text. You didn't Facebook message.
I was going to say that.
You called.
Okay. And your answer was very interesting, because in asking about inspiration, you gave some really great tips. So I'm going to get back to some of those tips in a moment. But you also mentioned bags, that you make bags. Tell me about your bags.
I have a line called Brandhyze & Co.
Okay.
And so I do leather handbags. And so as a gift, I got a leather lesson once in a guy's living room. Boyfriend got me a gift. We sat in this guy's living room. He bought all the tools, bought the leather, and we learned to hand stitch. And so, you know, just kind of, as anything, you begin to get interested in it, and you start studying people's bag on the subway. And you're like, oh wait, I think I can figure that out. Let me look what the bottom of that bag look like. Or you'll be in department stores touching those stuff, hoping they don't think you're stealing. But you're just trying to like figure it out and kind of work your way from behind. So you might start like, here's the end product. Okay, if they fold that flap in, they did that strap like this, okay, and then I can work myself into making the template for myself, you know, out of cardboard. And so, you know, it may take me 14 hours to complete a handbag, but I've gotten more and more business, and so it's really taken off.
Oh, good. So an actor and an entrepreneur, I'm loving it. Back to the acting for a moment. One of the things I noticed was some of the roles that you've been playing. So the reporter, I think it's listed in some places as the tenacious reporter. And the flexibility of what you do right now. So understanding that sometimes you get those roles, the kind of the roles that are standard, or you feel like they're the same types of roles. How do you push to show people your range? What are some of the things that you do to show people some of the different things that you're able to do?
Create a backstory for yourself in those particular roles. So they may be written similar, that you jump up in a crowd at a press conference and heckle the main character, or chase someone down in a forest, as I did on Blue Bloods a couple of times to tell the story. But you can also create your own projects. Like I've gotten together with others and created, my own short films and stuff. Before I got Orange is the New Black, I did a film where, I was haggard looking and tired and just, really fretting. And doing that film, one of the lines is, you're not on Orange is the New Black. So to fast forward and you're like, watch that again, you're like, man, I really did get Orange is the New Black. But it was creating a role for myself because I wanted something gritty. I thank God, get cast a lot as, the glamorous or
Right.
attractive. So, thank God to be working. But to get other stuff where you can show a little range and stretch yourself a little further. Like
Right.
for Orange is the New Black, they gave me track marks and they muddied up my teeth and they made my
that
skin
did
look
not
bad.
look like you. I had to go back and say, that's not her.
And teased up my hair. And so, to get into character of what's it like to be a drug addict? I've never done drugs in my life. I don't know. So,
but to really get into
it, yeah.
and just being able to show that versatility, because I see it on your reel online. I see the versatility, but then I also notice again, with like Nashville and Blue Bloods, the types of roles. But it's always pivotal, right? So you're always in the role where you say something and then it cuts to commercial.
Absolutely.
So now let's talk advice.
Okay.
So, our viewers are always looking for advice and some strategies and techniques, whether they're looking to go into acting or just looking to pursue whatever it is their dream might be. So what are some tips, if you were to give our viewers some tips on taking their dream and bringing it to fruition, what would those tips be?
I say set your sights on what the dream is.
Okay.
And I'm big on audiobooks. So if it's Think and Grow Rich, The Automatic Millionaire, The Millionaire Next Door, The Secret I've even liked. A lot of them talk about having what your goal is, so you know what you're working towards and you can quantify it. It's nothing worse than being like, I want to be successful. I haven't identified for myself what that looks like or how I will know I reached it or not.
I love it.
But knowing what that is and every day doing something to get you towards that. Okay. Now, as an actor, you can read lines, you can run them with people, you can take classes, you can watch films, you can research. There are a lot of things that you can do.
Right.
And you don't want to feel like you're being stagnant, like, man, it's been 2 months and I've been saying, because I hate nothing worse than keep year after year talking, say with a friend or something, you guys meet annually for something, and every year you guys have this same conversation about one day we gonna be, and it's just like, I'm like, okay, let's devise a plan to get there.
I call that the I'm about to do this and I'm about to do that, and it never happens.
Exactly. So being able to say, this year, I think it was a book called Write It Down, Make It Happen. This group get together and they go through their checklist each week of what they're going to do and set their goals. Okay. And you find out that this group is just one of her girlfriends. But they sound so official. Okay. But they keep each other accountable of, you said you were going to do this week. Okay, you said you were going to contact that person. Now, after you do that, what are you going to say to them and what's your next step going to be?
Love it.
Because there's nothing... it gives you a different sense of responsibility if I have to keep up with Kimberly, like, man, I got to call her tomorrow, and I didn't do anything. Let me do this real quick. Otherwise, for it's ourselves, we're quicker to disappoint ourselves and be like, I had a busy week and I didn't get a chance to get to it. I didn't do it. But if you have someone that's your accountability partner, it's easier to achieve your goals. Okay. And writing them down, knowing what they are, as I mentioned before.
Yes.
I think the devil is in the details. I'm big on following up. Some of my friends are like, Brandhyze, you got this follow-up thing on lock. And I don't think I'm doing anything special, but I do want people to remember my work. Right. And sometimes you got to remind people a nice little postcard, send them, tell them, thank you for the interview. As you and I were discussing before, you've had people, go on interviews. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for time. Right. I will send people Starbucks gift cards for $5 and tell you, have a cup on me. My mother jokes with me that I would give a gift basket to get into heaven if I could. But I'm big on showing people my appreciation and that I thank you for taking your time, to see me. I love it. And so, just following up with people, letting them know what you got going on, being consistent. That way they know whatever I'm going to get from Kimberly, whatever I'm going to get from Brandhyze, it's always going to be the same thing across the board. I'm going to show up on time, just the little things. Right. I've heard people say for auditions, people show up and don't know their lines. And you're like, what? How does that work? What? I've gotten 10 pages before and literally been like, your audition is tomorrow morning. And I stay up. Got to get a couple Red Bulls, but I will stay up pacing around my apartment, getting those lines memorized, have someone read them to me, put them on my phone so I can listen to them over and over. Right. But just doing whatever it is so that you are prepared. So people can't ever say, I mean, that person was cool, but they were nice to be around, but they didn't really get their job done. Right. Like when I worked on Survivor's Remorse, the director came up to me at the end and he said, you didn't drop a syllable all day. You were awesome. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I pride myself on getting it right. Right. Now, are there days where we're like, I don't know what's going on or how I'm going to pull this off, or I had a late night or whatever it is, but we want to be professional when we get there. Absolutely. And do everything we can on our part. The rest I got to leave up to God, but I try to do my part.
Oh my goodness, what great tips. I mean, when you were talking about quantifying, so, you know, just putting a measure on whatever that goal is, that's big. That's huge with me. So as everyone that you hit, like the consistency, and anyone who's read my book, they know, you know, these are things that are so very important. So I love the fact, you and I didn't even talk about this ahead of time.
Right.
So I'm loving what you've shared as far as challenges and tips and techniques that will help to make our audience even better at what they're doing. I thank you so much for taking the time to come and meet with me today. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Me too.
And in all you do, continue to be strategic.
Thank you.
Isn't she incredible? Be sure to check your local listings to see Brandhyze in Christmas in Homestead on the Hallmark Channel. For more information on Brandhyze Stanley and to keep up on what's next, please visit BrandhyzeStanley.com. You can also follow her on Twitter and Instagram at Brandhyze. Our babies deserve the best. Bibs Plus understands this and handcrafts well-constructed, fashion-forward, triple-layer stay-dry baby bibs for our precious little ones. Their customers share that they love the great looks, great value, and great quality. Bibs Plus Baby Bibs and other great offerings can be purchased at shop.bibsplus.com. And Strategic Minds viewers can get 20% off by entering Strategic Minds 20 at checkout until December 31st, 2016. This month's segment was sent to us by Tanya Barnett. She and I connected on Twitter and had the opportunity to meet at a Boss Network event right here in New Jersey. Tanya Barnett is a speaker, author, and the Real Wife Coach. She's the author of Being a Wife Just Got Real, Things I Wish I Knew Before I Said I Do. She coaches women in preparation to be great wives, and she gives current wives tools to implement in order to create strong marriages and families, one wife at a time. She's a mother, wife, marathoner, triathlete, and a serious book lover. Let's hear from Tanya Barnett.
Hi, this is Tanya Barnett, your Real Wife Coach. I want to thank Kimberly Ferguson at the Strategic Mind Show for having me on today. I am so super excited about this segment. In this segment, I'm going to teach you a tip on how you can effectively communicate with your spouse. What is this tip, you ask? This tip is letter writing. You heard right, letter writing. We're going to go old school here, so just bear with me, okay? So the first thing you need to get is a pen and some paper. I also want you to find a quiet place to write this letter. That place can be your bedroom, your car, maybe even a coffee shop. Whatever works for you, make sure you find one, okay? The next thing I want you to do is I want you to take your time and do an outline. Put your bullet points down of those things that are important to you that you want to convey. Also, take some time with this letter. It could take you a day or two, maybe even a week, but I really want you to take time to think about what you're going to be putting in this letter. Now, these are some pitfalls I want you to avoid. We're not going to be judgmental. We're not going to be accusing our husbands of anything. We're not going to be sarcastic, and we're definitely not going to do any name calling. All we're going to do is put down the facts of how we feel. You could say something like, honey, when, this is how I feel. You're going to make this letter about you and about your feelings. This way you can appeal to him and to his heartstrings. After your letter is done, you're going to put it in a sealed envelope. And that's on the top of the sealed envelope, you're going to write, do not respond. Why do I want you to do that? Because I don't want him to respond, point blank. I want him to take this letter, I want him to go to a quiet place, and I want him to read it as well. Give him a day or two, a week, a month. I know in a couple of letters I've written to my husband, sometimes he didn't respond at all. Other times he came back a couple of days later and we had a good conversation about it. This is a great tip to do when you're at a place where you're just not getting anywhere in a conversation or an argument or a disagreement. This is a great way to let your feelings be known and for him to hear your heart. So, without further ado, I want you ladies to get your pen, get your paper, and get to letter writing.
Love it. I'm going to get my pen and paper and get ready to write. Thank you, Tanya. For more information on Tanya Barnett, Real Wife Coach, and the Real Wife Movement, visit www.realwifemovement.com and follow her on Twitter at Real Wife Coach. My next segment is back by popular demand. I met Stewart Andrew Alexander on LinkedIn. He is an international digital media strategist and talk show host at Impact Makers Radio, who consults directly with high net worth individuals in the fields of business, finance, health, and personal success. He has helped hundreds of small business owners, including me, to grow their businesses with his Find, Trust, and Choose system. That's a proprietary system that positions his clients as the obvious choice within their industry, resulting in more prospects, more clients, and ultimately more money. Stewart has lived, worked, and built businesses in international locations all across the world. And in this Strategic Minds replay, he shares quick-fire insights into how to attract more prospects and clients from online interviews.
Hi, this is Stewart Andrew Alexander from Impact Makers Radio, and I'm here today to share with you how to attract more prospects, more clients, and ultimately more money for your business. Now, with that said, the method that we're going to be talking about today is podcasting or online radio shows. Now, when most people think about going onto a podcast or an online radio show, they are thinking about, I have to get more traffic, I have to get more exposure, I have to get more clicks to my website. Now, that school of thought has been around for many years, and there's nothing fundamentally wrong with that. But what I want to share with you today is a different perspective, a different angle, so to speak, where when you go onto a show, you're going to be able to leverage the fact that you've been on a show and gain more traffic, more prospects, more clients, more opportunities to position yourself as an expert within your industry. So let's quickly go through this so that you can understand exactly what you need to do. Now, firstly, when you go onto a show, you really want to avoid talking about yourself or your lifestyle or even your business. There's a time and place for that, but it's certainly not at the beginning of the show or at the middle of the show. Leave it to the end of the show, okay? So if you can discuss that with the host, just tell him you're there to speak about the problems, the misconceptions, the obstacles, the pitfalls, the fears of your target audience. Because when you do that, what you're going to do then is you're going to create content that's going to be educational, it's going to be informational, it's going to be helpful, and it's going to automatically position you as a trustworthy educator and a advocate for the success of the people who you have the greatest passion around helping. So once you have that all down, then here's what you need to do step by step. So step one, make sure you get a recording of the show. Get yourself an audio recording of the show. So once you have that down, step two is you want to have that transcribed into a Word document or a text document. And step three, that's when you're going to start repurposing that content into various formats that we can distribute over the internet. So when we're talking about formats that you can distribute over the internet, think about this. Remember, you've created content that is useful, it's educational, it's going to help your clients to solve their problems, okay? You're not talking about yourself. So here's what you do with the content. One, you can create free reports based on that great content you created and give them away, all right, to build your list. Number two, you can create email campaigns that you can send out to your database that you've just built. Okay, another great way to use the same content. Three, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of these social footprints that you can use from the same educational content that you created. It's fantastic, isn't it? Great. Number four, articles. Yeah, you can write articles because you've already created the content and you can post that onto your own website or other third-party platforms. Five, blog post. Kind of similar to articles, but again, you can use those to create content on your own website and publish it out there to position yourself as an expert. Number six, LinkedIn. This is a place not just for job seekers. This is a place for hundreds of thousands of business decision makers, people who you need to be making a good impression with, and there's no better place to do that than on LinkedIn posts, okay? That's where you can create blog posts. Tip number 7, videos. You can use the same content, put them onto your YouTube video channel so people can see you demonstrating how much you care about them, demonstrating how much you can help them, demonstrating how much you know already within your industry. From the same content is great stuff, isn't it? Tip number 8, news releases or media releases or press releases, whatever you want to call them. Very powerful if you use them in a way to position yourself as an expert. There's nothing better than be able to say that you have been quoted on a national news media outlet. Okay, so think about that. News releases, a powerful method to use. Finally, book chapters. What are you talking about, Stewart? Book chapters? Yes, you can create book chapters from your interviews. This is something I do with my clients. They come onto the show, they create fantastic content, and we can create interview style books that get published out to Amazon, and then we can position them online as the experts that they truly are. Now, when you do all of this, what you end up doing is positioning yourself within your industry as the go-to person, someone who's helpful, someone who's passionate, someone who really wants to help their prospects and clients. And then when they find all of these various footprints online, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, articles, in the news, on your website, on blogs, on LinkedIn, and there are so many more, I've only mentioned 9 today. When they find those, they're going to have sufficient reasons to want to pick up the phone and call you or send you an email or whatever your call to action may be. And that's what it's all about. Today, you have to be putting out content out there, but none of us have time to become social media experts. None of us have time to be writing and creating content on a daily basis like we're told to do. So why not just talk about the things you know anyway? Go on a show, talk about it, record it, transcribe it, repurpose it, get it out there, and let it do the work for you. It's so much more powerful than going on the show with 100,000 listeners, getting a surge of traffic to your website that's going to inevitably die down within the next couple of weeks, than to go on a show that maybe even have 100 listeners, but you've got the content and you can repurpose it and put it online and it's there forever, okay? Working for you. Think about that. So I hope this has been very helpful for you. This is Stewart Andrew Alexander, ImpactMakersRadio.com. Come along, visit me. Love to have you on the show. All right. So until then, take care. It's been great talking with you, and we'll talk real soon. Bye bye.
Stewart continues on his mission to build a platform where what he calls global impact makers can share their expertise surrounding the obstacles, misconceptions, pitfalls, and fears of the individuals and organizations they love to help the most. To learn more about Stewart's vision for the future, simply visit ImpactMakersRadio.com. Well, there you have it, another wonderful edition of my favorite online empowerment series, The Strategic Mind Show. Hey, you want to stay connected with us? Join the Strategic Minds group on Facebook, register for our mailing list at strategicminds.tv, download the Women on TV app to watch this show and other WBTVN broadcasts, and visit our page on WBTVN to participate in our online chat and more. And for more about me, Kimberly A. Ferguson, Amazon.com best-selling author, learning and development consultant, 2016 Boss Network influencer, speaker, and the host with you in mind, visit me online at kfergspeaks.com or follow me across social media platforms at kfergspeaks. We thank you for watching, and in all you do, be strategic.